Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and I have an interesting game for you played at 2018 Riga Technical University Open. With the white piece is playing Armenian Grandmaster Samvel Ter-Sahakyan and his opponent is Indian chess player Moksh Doshi. Let's see what happened on the board. Ter-Sahakyan started the game with e4 and e5 by Doshi. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. We see the Spanish game a6, bishop a4, knight f6, white castles kingside, bishop e7. Black goes for closed variations, rook e1, b5, bishop b3, d6, c3. White wants to establish a strong center, and also at some point the bishop can come on c2 square. Black castles kingside, h3, preventing any bishop g4 jumps, knight b8. Black is now bringing this knight on d7 square, which will overprotect the pawn on e5 square, and is also preparing to push the c pawn forward. Now comes d4, knight d7, knight d2. Now white will bring his knight on g3 square, from where it can both jump on f5 or if possible on h5. Bishop b7, bishop c2, rook e8. Black is freeing this f8 square for the bishop, and usually later black is playing g6 and is bringing his bishop on g7 square. Knight f1, we see bishop f8, knight g3, g6. The pawn is taking under control. The f5 square is not allowing the knight intrusion. a4. White is challenging black's pawn structure on the queen side, trying to break it apart. c5. Now comes d5, c4. Black is freeing the c5 square for the knight. Bishop g5, knight c5, queen d2 and bishop e7. Well, after playing g6 it would have been logical to bring the bishop on g7 square, but in the game we see bishop e7, rook a3. At any moment white can double up his rooks on a file. Knight d7, bishop e3, queen c7, knight h2. The knight was somewhat misplaced on f3 square. Now this knight can both jump on g4 square, which is of course a very active square for the knight, and also at some point white can bring into life f4 idea. Knight b6, a takes b5, a takes b5, and we see the exchange of rooks on a8 square. Now comes knight g4, bishop c8. Well, actually instead of playing bishop c8, rook a2 looks more active, after which the engine says that white can pay no attention to this pawn on b2 square and play rook f1. If rook takes b2, then go for f4 with great attacking chances. But after knight g4 we see bishop c8 in the game. Now comes knight h6 check, king g7, and queen e2, a very cunning move, and the idea hidden behind this move you will see a move later. Instead of playing queen e2, another strong alternative is playing rook f1, preparing f4. But in the game we see queen e2 and a bad move by Indian player queen d8, after which white is gaining a huge advantage. It was better to go for this prophylactic king f8 move. If queen f3, right now there is a mating threat, then f6. Though white has an advantage, but still black is managing to defend. But after queen e2 we see queen d8, after which Ter-Sahakyan went for this dazzling knight sacrifice on h5 square. Now can you understand the idea of bringing the queen on d1 h5 diagonal? G takes h5, black accepted the sacrifice, but after this move black's position is collapsing. It was better to play king f8. The white can go for f4. If knight d7, then rook f1. White has a very dangerous attack, but I have to mention that this continuation could have prolonged black's resistance. But in the game we see g takes h5, and after queen takes h5 black is facing serious problems. Right now the threat is queen takes f7, that's why queen e8 was played. But now Ter-Sahakyan is capturing on c5. He is freeing this e3 square for the rook with a tempo, and now this rook will join the attack. D takes c5, and here comes the rook, rook e3. King h8, but the pawn on f7 square is no longer protected, and now comes knight takes f7 check. King g7, rook g3 check, king f8, queen h6 check, and finally black resigned. White is also sacrificing the second knight, but after capturing it, you will get checkmated in one. That's why in view of this line, after Queen h6 check, Moksh Doshi resigned. A very instructive and aggressive attacking game by Ter-Sahakyan. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you, and for more games don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.